so I'm an extremist, like I told you. So
Yeah.
when in 1990, when I decided I'm gonna become a Christian,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna check it out because I didn't believe, I'm not becoming a Christian. I'm gonna check out if this guy called Jesus, who I don't think exists, is really why my friend is happy. I'm gonna check it out. So I'm gonna go all the way out.
Yeah.
So here's a guy that prior to that day, I couldn't go to bed with one woman.
Yeah.
I couldn't have satisfaction. I had to go to bed with 2-3 women.
Oh.
So when I made that decision, I stayed celibate for 7 years.
Wow.
If I tell people, if I ever could say I had an addiction, was sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had sex with 2-3 different women every day for years. Every day.
And you had the means. I mean, if you're picking up a girl in a private jet, that's kind of a good help as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to, and I met my wife.
Yeah.
And my wife, who's the most amazing woman in the world, when she met me, she said, when we thought we were going to have a relationship, she said, I am very poor.
Yeah.
My mother cleans houses for a living. My father's a waiter. I got nothing to give a man but what God's given me. If that's the woman you want, and I'm going to tell you this, Gustav, for 2 years that we were in a relationship celibate,
Yeah.
you know what my prayer was?
No.
I mean, Almighty God, will I be able to be satisfied by just her?
Yeah.
Can Suhei satisfy me when she's never been with a man? She doesn't have that dirtiness, that streetness that all my other women did.
Yeah.
And she's just one. Can I have sex with just one woman? And I'm going to tell you, we've been married now 23 years, together 25, the most amazing relationship in the world. Because we built a relationship not based upon sex. We built a relationship based upon a lot of different things that drove us together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and trust and our faith together. She's the holiest woman in the world. I mean, sometimes you don't be mad. I mean,
and I've heard. I mean, sometimes on the height of your dealing career, you went out with $150,000 of jewelry on you, and like a $50,000 watch, and in your Gemballa Porsche, driving around in strip clubs to strip clubs with cash.
I mean, I used to give out $10,000 to $15,000 every night.
Wow.
No.
And you didn't bring your bodyguards. You just you didn't bring them along.
I used to escape. I look back now and I look at it. If you read the blog where I wrote, I'm a 21-year-old multimillionaire and I want to die. Yeah. I wrote that blog, and I finally realized it not too long ago that I did a lot of things because I guess I wanted to die, and
wow.
I would never commit suicide. To me, I'm not wired that way.
Yeah.
But I felt like, hey, my life has no meaning.
Wow.
So I in between bodyguard shifts, I would escape, and then I get on my Gemballa, and I go to clubs. And in Miami, where they kill you for $1,000,
yeah.
I would drive out to the strip club. Everybody knew who I was, you know. Everybody knew that I had $200,000 of jewelry on.
And what happens when you drop $2,000 cash at that strip club? I mean, then the stripper just goes with you, or
oh, $2,000 was. I mean, I don't think there was a night that we didn't drop at least $5,000. You know, I'm putting $100. I'm putting $100 in their garter belt every song.
Yeah, I mean,
you
know? we don't even have strip clubs in Sweden. I was like shocked when I saw a strip club in US.
Yeah, and honestly, it's horrific, man, because it's so degrading to those women.
It is.
It's a funny thing. I could have had sex with any of them.
Yeah.
And this club called the Follies, where I used to go, had the most beautiful women. Everyone on a scale 1 to 10 was a 20. I never had sex with any of them, ever.
Wow.
And but you know, and it's part of my life that as I see now, 3 daughters that I adore and a wife that I worship.
It's not
like those girls are somebody's daughter.
Yeah, that's really.
You know? And I was treating them just like a piece of, you know, like my gig was to have them all come to my tables and dance. And if you were in the club and you want to dance, you had to pay me to let her go.
And those supermodels, those you found on nightclubs, or you found them everywhere, or what was a typical
day? A lot of them in
for
California. A lot of them in California, because when the word got out that I was like the king of cocaine. Yeah. I mean, it was an era, right? Assembly, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah. Wow.
You know.
And were you around in Europe during the mid 80s? And you picked up the Mercedes there.
I used to go to Europe at least once a month.
Yeah. Wow. Once a month.
Here's an interesting story. I had a girlfriend. I didn't even call her my girlfriend.
Yeah, the
This,
girl.
I didn't even find this. I did not put this two and two together, Gustav, till years later, editing my book.
Yeah.
And here's the story. So this girl was Miss Spain.
Ooh.
Probably one of the most beautiful girls I ever met from Malaga.
Miss
Okay?
Spain.
She was second at Miss World. Okay.
That's crazy.
And she went to Colombia as part of the tour, and she got raped
Oh.
and got pregnant. And she would not abort the kid and went back to Spain. They took her crown and all that.
Oh.
And I met her. I baptized her son. I paid for his college. I bought him a house.
Wow.
And I traveled all over Europe with her,
Yeah.
literally sleeping in the same bed. She would change clothes, go to a shower naked, and I never ever even freaking looked at her in a lascivious way or even touched her. And then years later, I said to myself, man, she was probably the most beautiful girl you ever met, you ever had. You had sex with other ones that were just not that far as good as that. Why not her?
Yeah.
She would have gone for it.
Yeah.
But what I realized is, in my eyes, when I came from Cuba, and girls used to laugh at me because they thought I was dirty because we were poor. And they would say, hey, George, are you going to a party Saturday? And I would say, oh, what party? Oh, I'm sorry. We don't invite people like you to our parties.
Wow.
So years later, the reason I treated women the way I did was, in my mind, I was just getting even.
Yeah, to the mean girls
way.
from high school, kind of.
Yeah, I didn't treat Irene that way because in my mind, she was the victim like me.
Yeah.
So my job was not to abuse her like every other girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I never abused anyone physically, but to me, abuse is like, hey, I have sex with you now, get the hell out. Here's $2,000, leave.
Yeah, yeah.
And because to me, she was a victim and my job was to protect her. All this in a psychological plane.
Yeah, Miss Spain, she must be quite happy today for you, basically, that you helped her back in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I lost contact with her. She was just amazing lady. I mean, she was
pretty. So bad for her. Yeah, pretty good level. Maybe that's why you went to Europe every month. Check off every country's Miss country.
I went and I stayed at the best hotels, you know, all over London. Mostly I went to Paris, London, Spain, Germany. Then I went to Switzerland only to go to Switzerland to do business. Yeah. Some of our foreign bank accounts were in Switzerland, but I didn't stay there long because I felt like I don't need to be seen in Switzerland. I need to come in and out. Yeah,
exactly. And not Sweden either. Like everybody is like mixes up Switzerland, but and wow, what a crazy. But it feels like you kind of really learned. You learned so many lessons during this life. I mean, that many never will be close to learn. This life travel you have done.
Yeah, and that's why I do what I do now. I'm 64. Yeah. I was retired for 3 years without doing nothing. I didn't want to do anything. Yeah. I didn't want to come out. I didn't want people to know me. Yeah, I just wanted people to call me Dr. Valdez, you know, a guy with a PhD, college professor. Yeah. And until my wife is like, listen, there's just so much you can give to the world, and it's selfish of you not to. So,
yeah, because I mean, when you tell the world, I mean, you had the private jets, you had the helicopters, you had the Gemballa Porsches, the Lamborghini Countach, you had Corvettes in every color, and you kind of can tell people, maybe like me also, that I mean, once you reach there, it's not. Maybe it's nothing to reach. I mean, the real value is, as you put it, I mean, to be able to meet your daughter at school, make breakfast for your children, and spend time with your children, and also maybe your parents while they're alive.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm going to tell you, when I built my company from scratch, we built it into a multi-million-dollar company. And when I was at the height of it, when we had a 90-foot yacht, we had private jets. Yeah. I quit. I walked away from the company and moved my family to Mexico because I wanted my last 2 little kids to know me, because all my 6 kids love me, but they don't know me. The oldest ones, I was in prison most of their life, you know, at that time. And I had 2 left, and I went to make breakfast for them. Yeah. And so I just dropped off my baby girl at college. Yeah. Isabella. And just turned 18. And it's the most difficult thing I've ever been through in my life. But I realized one thing, and I was telling this to my wife. I said, you know how I can make it every day without her, and knowing that, you know, she's gonna be fine, because number one, I invested in her life. And number
Yes.
two, the worst thing in this world, Gustav, to live is asking yourself, what if?
Yeah.
What if I had walked away?
Yeah.
What if I had spent more time with my children? What if I had spent more time with my parents? I went to see my parents every day when people were out there looking to kill me. My bodyguard used to say, we spend thousands to protect you, and everybody knows you're going to be having dinner at your mom's house every day you're in Miami. But I love my parents that much.
Yeah.
And my kids. So now when I look at my kids, I don't have to ask myself, what if I spend more time with them?
No, no,
You know?
because you really spent. And have you ever heard back from any relative, any victim of cocaine that, like, sent you a mail or whatever, like, you know, this happened to my daughter, she passed away, or really addicted? Have you ever heard?
I have.
The
I have.
other
And I
side?
lived with that. I had a son overdose. I had
Oh,
a son overdose and nearly died. I
oh,
mean, he died. The rescue revived him at the age of
wow,
16.
wow,
And so I feel the pain.
yeah,
What I do now, all I do now is to make it a better world for our kids and grandkids. I sold my company for a lot of money. I'm self-made millionaire.
yeah,
Again, I made it legitimately. So what I do now with my podcast and all that is, because I send books to prison. That book you got, I send that.
yeah.
We sent 30,000 of them already this year.
Wow,
So every book is read by 10 inmates. So we've reached 300,000 inmates by giving them what? Not a evangelistic message, but a message of hope and redemption.
yeah,
A message that there is hope, that your past will not define you, that you can become better, you can reinvent yourself. You know, you don't have to live in your past. Yeah, you're going to suffer the consequences. You know, I tell people, look, that's how God is. God is merciful, but he's just. If God does not punish wrong, then he's not a just God. He's just a merciful God. And then that wouldn't be fair, right? So,
and did you ever use the product you sold yourself, like don't get high or you're on your own supply, or did you just use alcohol during those 80s, or did you use?
You know what? We drank champagne and stuff like that when we went out. We didn't drink at home. We didn't, you know.
I mean, you don't.
I use cocaine. I use cocaine when I get out.
Yeah, yeah.
I use cocaine. I never before, because my godfather said, I'll kill you if I see you use.
Yeah, yeah.
This is to make us rich at the expense of some idiot.
Yeah.
But I tried it because, again, it was part of that. I was so miserable in life that I'm looking for anything that's going to give meaning. But when I realized all of a sudden that now I got to pay for something that I could have done for free.
Yeah.
And I realized that, number two, that I have a very addictive personality.
Exactly.
I don't know how to do anything half-assed. I either do it to the nth degree or not.
Yeah.
Then I stopped. I stopped, and I used it for a very short period of time, maybe 6 months, on and off.
And that was between your two prison sentences, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And